Hello, my name is Victor, and today I will be talking about the Uber rider acquisition optimization. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. So the campaign's main issue is not cost efficiency, it is rider quality. Uber is close to its CPA goal, achieving a blended CPA of $18.48 compared to the $18 target, but it is missing its activation goal with only 37% of signups completing a first ride compared to the 40% target. This means Uber is successfully generating signups, but too many of those users are not becoming riders. Optimizing for lower CPA alone could improve dashboard metrics while making the underlying business problem worse. With only 1 week before the next review cycle, Uber should focus on 4 high impact changes. We should reduce broad urban prospecting, especially in Phoenix, scale high intent mobility in Seattle and Denver, shift creative budget from first ride offer to airport/event messaging, and cap app re-engagement frequency instead of increasing spend. These recommendations directly address the campaign's biggest issue, which is improving rider quality without drastically increasing acquisition costs. The data shows that Uber's challenge is not generating demand, it is generating the right demand. Broad urban prospecting is the weakest layer, with the highest CPA at $24 and the lowest activation rate at 24%. Performance is also worsening, with CPA increasing from $22.50 to $26.20 and activation falling from 27% to 21%. Phoenix Broad is concerning, with only a 16% activation rate, which indicates the audience lacks real ride intent. When it comes to high intent mobility, they delivered the strongest balance of efficiency and quality. The layer achieves a 1744 CPA and a 42% activation rate while continuing to improve week over week. Seattle and Denver are the strongest segments, generating activation rates of 47 and 44%. The creative data is also similar. Creative C, the first ride offer, generates the lowest CPA at 1690 and the highest CTR at 1.45%, but activation is only 27%. Creative B, the airport/event message, has a slightly higher CPA at 1760, but a much stronger activation rate of 46%, showing that the use case messaging attracts users with genuine transportation needs. And finally, app re-engagement should be protected rather than scaled aggressively. It remains the most efficient layer with a 1408 CPA and a 48% activation rate, but frequency has climbed to 8.7, while activation has declined from 52 to 43%. This suggests growing audience fatigue, making frequency control more important than additional spend. Uber should scale high intent mobility in Seattle and Denver because these segments consistently produce signups that become riders. Seattle high intent delivers a 47% activation rate with an 1846 CPA, while Denver performs even better at a 1528 CPA and 44% activation. Uber should also increase investment in travel/airport and event/ticketing placements, which offer the strongest combination of cost efficiency and rider quality, with CPAs below $17 and activation rates near or above 50%. These placements work because they reach users during moments of clear transportation need. Broad urban prospecting should be reduced because it fails on both cost and quality, generating a $24 CPA and only 24% activation. While the audience is highly scalable, that scale has limited value if users lack real ride intent. Phoenix should also be narrowed rather than paused entirely. The market has a 1923 CPA and only 25% activation, with underperformance across every campaign layer. However, because Phoenix remains a strategic growth market, Uber should reduce spending on its weakest segments, especially Phoenix Broad, and focus on higher intent use cases. Uber should remove mobile gaming apps and local news/weather placements because they do not support the campaign objective. Mobile gaming drives engagement, but only an 18% activation rate, while local news/weather produces a 2780 CPA and 35% activation. Since only 2 placement categories can be removed, these are the clearest choices. And finally, Uber should monitor app re-engagement and Creative D. Re-engagement is sufficient, but frequency has risen to 8.7 while activation has declined, which may signal audience fatigue. Creative D has a weak CPA of 27.27, but a strong 44% activation rate. With only $3,000 in spend, there is not enough data to make a confident decision. Uber should optimize toward first ride activation while using sign-up CPA as a guardrail. The campaign's goal is not to generate app downloads, it is to acquire new or reactivated riders. A sign-up only creates value if it leads to a first ride within 7 days. Optimizing only for CPA would reward low quality segments. Creative C illustrates this issue by delivering the lowest CPA at 1690 and the highest CTR at 1.45%, but only a 27% activation rate. Mobile gaming placements show a similar pattern with a near target CPA of 1860, but just 18% activation. Activation is a stronger optimization signal because it measures real transportation intent. CPA should still matter, but it should function as a cost constraint rather than the primary decision metric. The campaign should prioritize segments that achieve both goals, CPA at or below $18 and activation at or above 40%. So what should change immediately and what needs more data? I believe Uber should immediately reduce broad urban prospecting, especially Phoenix Broad, remove mobile gaming apps and local news/weather placements, shift budget from first ride offer to airport/event creative, and cap app re-engagement frequency above 8. These areas have a lot of spend, consistent underperformance, and negative week-over-week trends, which is enough to signal that action is needed now. Creative D and Phoenix High Intent require more data before major changes are made. Creative D has only $3,000 in spend, but delivers a strong 44% activation rate, making it too early to pause. Phoenix High Intent underperforms with a 1897 CPA and 29% activation, but Phoenix remains a strategic market, so the focus should be on narrowing targeting and improving use cases rather than cutting investment entirely. The goal is to act quickly on high confidence problems while avoiding overreactions to low confidence data. And when it comes to our trade-offs, the main trade-off is sacrificing some short-term sign-up volume and low-cost conversions to improve rider quality. Reducing broad, urban, mobile gaming, and first ride offer creative will likely lower our total signups, but volume is not the campaign's problem. The campaign generated 4,870 signups in 2 weeks. The issue is that only 37% converted into first rides. This strategy prioritizes quality over quantity by shifting spend toward higher intent segments such as high intent mobility, travel/airport placements, event/ticketing placements, and airport/event creative. Phoenix will remain active despite weak performance because it is a strategic growth market, preserving long-term learning opportunities. App re-engagement will be protected rather than aggressively scaled to avoid audience fatigue caused by high frequency. This recommendation reduces segments that are worsening, scaling segments that are improving, and aligning optimization with Uber's true objective, acquiring riders, not just signups. So with that being said, that is my presentation. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.